Dragon Ball. I don't want anyone attacking me for what I'm about to say, but what the hell did I just watch? Goku with a tail.
You're still too weak.
Weak.
You don't have enough hate. And you know something? You never will.
Hate! That's what I want you to feel, guys. Feel the hatred that I feel. No, but seriously, guys. I hate 99% of so-called anime YouTubers ever, right? I hate every anime reaction channel. All of them. They're terrible. 100% of them. So forth, right? And the most biggest of why is because most people are tourists, right? They are, I love this expression, like they're COVID weebs or like Corona weebs, whatever, right? Or just hood weebs, you can't say anymore, or whatever, right? No, but this is the dumbest thing ever. So, this channel came out this video, like yesterday, and it is like the worst thing of all time, right? So many reasons why. But this is here, right? Verified fake anime fans. They're called the TheAnimeMen, which is not the same as TheAnimeMen with Joey, right? Which I also hate for that man. I hate everyone. But this is ridiculous, because how can you not know the GOKU has a tail, right? And I've said it for so many years, how I hate. I keep saying hate so many of these anime channels, because they actually don't know this stuff. They have literally probably only seen Dragon Ball Super, right? Not even Dragon Ball Z. They probably started at Super, like Goku Blue or something, right? And they sit there and be like, huh? Goku has a tail, right? Like, I have seen, you know, so-called anime reactors starting One Piece at episode 1015, right? And they're still getting like 1,000 likes because they're doing One Piece. And they were screaming, you know, oh, Monkey Man, smash hard! And they get like 10,000 likes, right? You know, you should hate these people. Feel the hate. But before, a friend kind of like, why are they rating this anime F tier or whatever, right? We can just immediately look at it and say, this is so stupid. Like, imagine if I did the same thing for video game. Okay, guys, so we're starting at 72 Pongman. Look at these graphics. F tier. How could anyone ever like this game? It's ridiculous. This is the best game of that year. I mean, imagine this game would completely fail if it ever sold today. Okay, so the next game we shit out. So in 95, this is apparently the best game. I had to play it, guys, at like 5 times the speed, and I was still really bored. It's called Lunar Krieger, and it's really terrible. A lot of F tier game. Look at the graphics, right? It's just like 2Ds, man. The music had a ship music. Terrible. Where's the orchestra, right? How could this be the best game of 95? Now, apparently this is the best game of 97. Again, another F tier game, guys. This was apparently good graphic percent. It looks so ugly. I mean, look. I mean, Jesus Christ, guys. Look at these guys' hands, man. They got them blocks, right? S-tier gaming, guys. S-tier gaming. Look at the graphics. Finally a good game. One of the few S-tier games, right? 100%. Like this is actual video gaming. Best. I hope you get my joke, because obviously it makes no sense, right? If I'm sitting here and I'm reviewing like a video game like FF7, which I think is one of the best games ever made, right? And I'll say, oh, it's a terrible F-tier game. Look at Cloud's arm. Those graphics are terrible. How could anyone like this thing, right? But as we all know, of course, graphics are evolving, right? Graphic cards, CPUs, GPUs, algorithm, AI, everything in between, ray tracing, whatever, right? You know, that thing's improving, right? So it makes zero sense to look at a game like Pong, Chrono Trigger, Zelda, whatever, right? And comparing it to modern graphics, like in 33, for example. It's obviously moronic at the highest degree, right? And having looked through their insanely bad video, which is even worse than Hasan Piker at Terrorist Taste. It's even worse than that, which impresses me, because that otherwise was the worst anime take this year. This is just so moronic, right? It's just objectively so stupid. These are literally sitting here, and they're just being like, oh, the graphics of this Astro Boy thing from like the 60s. Oh, it's so ugly. F tier. It's so incredibly childish, right? It's so pathetic. I find it incredibly pathetic, and I do wonder. But the worst thing is that I don't even find. I mean, honestly, guys, I just want to scream, right? Because it's just like I lack words to describe how much hate I feel, right? To my chagrin, because it really is just like. Incredible hate with my ban hammer. Yeah, I just want to, like, you know, ban everyone, right? Ban all the channels, because it's like, I don't even think they're kidding, right? I don't even think they're kidding. I think they're genuinely watching an anime like Dragon Ball from 80 from the 80s, right? And they're watching this anime. He's like 40 years old, and they're like, oh, the graphics is bad, you know? They're watching an anime for good, but and that's what I meant with my gaming parody there. It's be the same thing. I'm playing a video game from the 60s or something, or 70s, I think, Pong, and it's like hating it. Imagine playing chess. I'm playing chess with a board game. Look at the graphics of this like board game. It's terrible. Yeah, it's so stupid. And the worst thing is that I keep saying we should hate these tourists, these, you know, like COVID weebs or whatever. We should hate them because they are so stupid. They seem to actually believe that. They seem to actually genuinely believe that you can look at like an old anime or a game or whatever, or a movie, and say the graphics are terrible, ergo it's a bad game or whatever. It's so stupid. It's incredibly moronic. It's insane. Jesus Christ. But I also want to point out, though, that one is fascinating that I have never even heard about. But I'll get into that a bit. First of all, I find it fascinating. It's important, very fascinating here that I've never heard about people before until Espirito posted his tweet yesterday. And I think it's very interesting. I talked to him yesterday. There was more YouTube people know as well, right? And like no one has heard about them before. So I'm honestly just kind of surprised, generally here. Like, how do they have 4.5 million subscribers? And they have like the worst take on anime, right? They seem to hate anime. And we're looking later in the video, but these guys are basically honestly saying that they don't like anime. This guy is like, I hated anime until like, 4 or 5 years ago, right? Again, obviously Corona. So it's like, who are these people? Who subscribes to them? But I think it's interesting, really do it, from like, I'm guessing here, social media, how it works, right? So you have what's called clustering, so you have different like, this point in a graph basically, and what I'm guessing here is probably how it is, right? And actually I do know the YouTube lead programmer, he's like my cousin, but it's like the way YouTube works in a lot of ways is that it clusters based on your own preference, right? So YouTube knows that I will hate this channel, YouTube knows that I find these people completely moronic, right? And similar channels to them I would also hate, right? So YouTube probably has a complete blind spot for me. I am never ever have I gotten anything close to this low quality, right, of anime takes from these people or other channels, right? So for me, it's probably a completely voided blind spot, right, of probably 30, 40 channels in their kind of, similarity for these channels, and it probably goes as pretty as well. I think for people like him and me, right, both of us probably are never even getting this stuff, right? And at the same time, their subscribers, right, their 4.5 million subscribers will probably never ever have my channel recommended, right? Because I am the opposite, right? I'm an actual anime fan. No, but I mean, all looks aside, I'm the opposite. I will read One Piece, right? And I'll say, man, I really love what Uda's doing here with rocks. I really love that. But this shaky stuff, let's go under piece. You know what I mean? I'm critical, I'm honest, right? I love some stuff, also stuff, etc. You know what I mean? I'm breaking down. So I try at least, to be an intellectual person, right? Whatever, right? I went to the Stone videos. So I used to side note, right? Dr. Stone, yesterday episode, amazing. But also that, last year I actually sent something to space with NASA, right? So I worked on this project and we sent something to space, right? So when I'm looking at something Dr. Stone, I'm trying to make my, reviews and reactions, right, be a little bit scientific, right? But also trying to be comedic, right? When I'm looking at something Taco Pix original scene, I'm a scientist in different ways, so I also work with behavior science. I agree in that, so I'm trying to like make, so to speak, an intellectual, like, okay, this is the sun, this is the blah blah blah, and not to be that guy, but it's kind of obvious, right? If you have any kind of like scientific brain in your situation, this is the worst part from that. No, dear fans will probably never air the videos, right? Because I'm too smart. no, but seriously, it's how it is, right? But anyway, I just hate this so much. But I do find it fascinating. Just it really feels like it's two different kind of planets, right? It's just crazy. The worst thing is their fans probably like the thing, right? Of them sitting here being idiotic and just like, oh, I'm so tired, it's so boring, Toradora. Had to watch it at like 7 times speed or something, and oh yeah, they're falling asleep or something.
Yeah.
But this is also why people are so hateful, right? Because it is such an incredible disdain for animes. And if you go over the whole video, they keep talking about that they actually don't like anime, right? And it seems insane to me, and this is something I really do hate with the whole YouTube, social media, whatever, right? Is no one has any integrity. And I actually not just mean these people. I mean the fans too, okay? Come at me if you just like the channel. I mean it genuinely. I understand they usually make some like music parody, but come on guys, whatever. Like no, have some goddamn self-worth or something. I don't know. Because like no, I will never ever subscribe, right, to someone with this disdain, right? I would just unsubscribe immediately, right? If you have any actual brain, they should have lost like 1 million subs in 1 minute, right? But unfortunately they won't, because as I said in that bit, right, I'm sure that all of their fans are the same way, right? Unfortunately, yeah, I think it's very fair to say that the bigger issue isn't just these people themselves and similar YouTubers, right? Similar other whatever then, like upper exploding YouTube terrible people. It is the whole system, right? Where people that are supporting them, I bet you I'm gonna get 10,000 dislikes, right? I bet I'm gonna get attacked by these people. Same thing, right? Every time, when I critique Hasan Piker, I will get like 500 death, like literally, like, death threats on the mail and the comment section as well from his fans. But Luffy is actually pro-terrorism, Every time it's like that, right? You're just like, no. And Luffy isn't even, and you just be silent here. The Houthis are not pirates, they're privateers, okay? Hasan Piker is so stupid, doesn't even understand the difference between a privateer and a pirate. And every time someone comments the whole Houthi or Luffy rebel thing, I just say that, okay, but they are privateers. Why? See, the Houthis, they get paid by Iran, right? So they're working for Iran, which means you're a privateer. You're getting, a government to help you to do sea stuff, right? And in the One Piece textual bit there, that means that they are crocodile or dolphin, whatever. So they're working for the government. They're the government lapdogs. Ergo, they are not Luffy in One Piece. They're Shishibukai. But anyway, side note. But you get my point. Every time this thing happens, terrible fake anime fans become big, right? Make videos like this. They have like 1 million fans that go crazy, right? And I think it's the same thing there because they have fanatical Moronic fans, right? So instead of unsubscribing to the terrible shit, they should probably for a lot of stuff, right? They probably like this stuff. These like hatred for anime, right? And I also find these things so incredibly hateful. I say you have to have more hate, right? Because this is also moronic critique. Right? Now, I very openly, I'm probably one of the most, critical, right, of the current state of One Piece, for example, but also some other stuff too, right, over the years. 86. I critiqued hard, I hate the 6, right? And so on, hey, I really hate that. This is not that. Anyway, but get the point. So I'm very open to critiquing stuff. I mostly should be blindly following stuff, right? Not at all. But this here isn't a critique, right? That's why I hate this guy so much too. This is the most dumbest take ever, right? Because this is just so childish, right? This is just the most boring way to say, I don't like this stuff, I fell asleep, it's just, this is like the mental age of a 5-year-old, right? This is the dumbest take you can ever have. They're not motivating why it's bad. They're basically saying that, we've seen so many rom-coms, so I'm bored of it, basically. But that's not how you can review anything, right? For example, let me tell you, fancy. I love, JRPG. I played basically every JRPG ever made, right? I worked on a few of them, like FF7 Remake, and, I collect them and so on, right? So if we have a new JRPG coming out, am I gonna say, this game is boring because I played this genre like 500 times before, so this is boring to me. I have fought bosses before in my life. Boring, That makes no sense. You can't review anything in this way of like, I have to compare it to other stuff, or I've seen other similar stuff. So, but I remember one of my most hated YouTubers, right? Mad Lad, complete fake, he was One Piece, yeah. Complete fake rats, call him. He did this Space Invaded Loom videos, right? So Urusei Yatsuru, right? Very famous anime, same author, she also wrote Ranma, Inuyasha, so on, right? She's very, very famous. Japanese, she's like the richest woman in Japan, basically, all this good stuff, right? And he hated it. He was like, it's so tropey and that and so on, right? But that was a remake, right? He's watching the remake of like one of the oldest animes of all time, legendary animes, right? And he's like, it's so tropey, it's not innovative. It's like you're watching a remake of the anime that created all these tropes, which is tropey today, because you're watching basically an anime that's like 40 years old, right? Which again invented this cliche trope that today, okay, but for its time when it was new, it was very innovative, right? Like that kind of dissonance makes zero sense. You can't review something saying that, oh yeah, this anime from the 80s, you know, or 70s, oh it's terrible. I've seen the storyline before in Naruto. You're like, well, I mean, like Naruto took it from this show. For example, honestly. Bastard, right? Heavy Metal Bastard. It's Dark Snyder! Amazing anime for that matter. I love Dark Snyder. You know, the ninja, the strongest ninja in Dark Snyder's friendly enemy guys, which first is his enemy, then he shows his side, and blah blah and so on. His name is Gaara, okay? What's his name? Gaara, Naruto, and he's like a side swapper and so on. Now, I'm not saying that Gaara in these two shows are the same way, right? But it would not surprise me if these two morons here would watch something like, you know, Bastard, and be like, oh my god, they stole that name Gaara from Naruto. Oh my god, F-tier anime. Yeah, oh god, this author is so lazy, he stole it from Naruto. Where, of course, also my point is that Bastard, like Gaara in Bastard manga, appeared like 20 years before Gaara in Naruto, you know what I mean? If you actually, it's a remake, right? Yeah, like, it makes no sense. But that genuinely is what these terrible anime-tubers these days, right, believe, right? They're so incredibly shallow. They're living in this, like, I've only seen anime from this year, right? They think that an actual original anime is somehow the copy or whatever. Like, it's insane. In their defense, this is actually true, though. That's why I'm bringing it up. Not to be a complete hater. In his defense, it's actually true, though, that Tokyou Ghoul, the first season, actually was very good, right there. And then it turned into the worst thing ever. So it's what I pointed out in the defense. The episode 1, if you only review animes based on the first episode.
This video.
You're sponsored? Who's pays for this shit? I think it's crazy. I hate the reality. Have I told you guys? You need more hatred! Now, one of the worst parts of this video, right? And this really screams the whole TikTok generation, right? Like, you get stupider about the media or something. I actually wrote a paper about that. Like a side note, guys. But I wrote a paper in 2010, guys. This is before TikTok existed, right? I wrote a paper about how people get depressed by social media and how it also makes them stupider, basically. And I predicted that, and I straight up, and this is a true story. You can look at my papers, it's a true story. And I predicted that we're gonna have even worse social media. I mean, they're gonna be more addictive to kids, right, so on, and they're gonna make them even dumber. Okay, yeah. And I was like, man, it's gonna be terrible. Right? It's gonna be terrible. But anyway. One thing they talk about here, right, is that they're also watching these animes in, like, you know, 2x, 3x speed, right? Like, they have this one moment where he's like, oh, I'm gonna give this anime some honor by watching it only at 1.5 speed. So they're watching animes at, like, what, 4 times speed, something? So the whole thing has 0 value, right, to anyone with higher IQ than 10, right? Because even if it's ignoring, if you wanna cope here, right? You wanna cope. So you're gonna say that they're only watching episode 1, and ergo, their opinion is actually, you know, accurate, because episode 1 was bad of Macross here or whatever and so on. Let's argue for that. That argument still doesn't hold true, because they are so pathetic that they can't even watch the anime, right, at normal speed, I keep saying it. They're watching most animes apparently at, I don't know, 2x, 4x speed, right? So how can you review anything you're watching it at 4x speed? You know, and I mean in both ways, right? Even if it sucks, okay? If I'm watching an anime, and it's a goddamn awful episode, the pacing is terrible. One Piece. Looking at you, One Piece! No, but seriously, right? If you're watching this anime at, like, it has terrible pacing. If you're watching it at 4 times speed, right? It's just cheating system, yeah. You have to actually live through the slow, you know. You have to live through it, right? To be able to actually review it. And you should do something focusing on it, right? You should focus on it, and so forth, right? This is the most laziest shit ever, right? They're just turning on some random anime, screaming a bit, they're playing with their phones all the time, right? Yeah, they're giving the actual anime, like, 0 attention. They're playing it like 4 times, 10 times speed, whatever, I don't care, right? And they also have the intelligence level of, like, I don't know, a dog, right? So they're basically like, oh, and it's like, oh, the anime was bad, F tier. So you really can't take these points anyway seriously whatsoever. No, of course, I don't think animation does that. No one will ever take people seriously whatsoever anyway. But I just think that it's just so sad, because it's ignoring, right, the whole we have the worst taste of all time is ignoring that shit, right? Ignoring that shit. They haven't even done the basic work, you know what I mean? They haven't even done like the basic effort of at least watching each episode in like normal speed and actually looking at the anime, focusing on it. Same thing if we're gonna review movies and games or whatever, right? But actually play the game. You can't shit on the game. Remember that Sekiro was new, right? And there was some Polygon or Kotaku, you know, obviously, you know, activist pages, right? Terrible, whatever. One of them were like cheating to beat Ishin, right? Ishin isn't even that hard, and I start by saying that. No, the hardest boss is out too, Jesus Christ, man. Ishin isn't even that hard. I find him quite easily if you have the purple Hanabi team, whatever, I digress. My point is that there's this game journalist, right, comes out and admits they had to cheat to beat the last boss. And they're trying to argue that cheating is fine. And I want, you know, they're using some kind of hack inside it. No, it's not, right? And you shouldn't be allowed to review the game if you can't beat the game, basically, right? If you have to cheat to beat the game, let someone else review it, okay? You goddamn noob, you know what I mean? Like, how can you review it, honestly, if you're cheating, right? It doesn't make any sense. Like, so, it's just so terrible, because this just makes me hate these people even more. If I keep saying you have to hate people, you should hate them. And you should hate all the families, you should hate everything in the world, because it's just like, they didn't even do the basic labor of watching this anime. So, I mean, think about it as a number gamer, right? It isn't that many animes to watch, you know? It really isn't, right? It is like, it's not even 100 episodes. And you take that down into the time, whatever. You can do this in like a day or 2 days, right? Like, do the actual labor. And I mean, not to be that guy saying that, well, you know, I'm not the biggest YouTuber. I mean, sure, my audience has to better or whatever. But it's like, these guys, honestly, I don't even know why I expect any kind of quality assurance. But it's like, again, how did they get so many subscribers? I would respect anyone. Like, if you subscribe to my channel, guys, press the like and subscribe. If I get like 4 million subs on the channel, guys, I promise you, I'm gonna make better videos, okay? I promise you guys, if we get 4 million subs here, I am kind of close now to another milestone on the channel, so it's pretty good, but whatever. But if I get the 4 million, guys, I promise you guys, we're gonna make better quality videos. I'm gonna hire someone, you know what I mean? I could hire someone now because I'm rich for actual job. But it's like, I would, you know, if I had so many subs, I would be embarrassed. I'd be so embarrassed doing this this terrible shit, right? I would actually spend time and effort on my videos, right? I would hire someone. I would have an editor easily. I edited all my channels. Obviously, I edit them all myself, right? You know, if I had 4 million subs, I would hire someone as an editor, so I had more time to be a creator. You know, I mean, that just makes sense, right? In any kind of business, I'm a proud capitalist, guys. I'm a proud capitalist. I have my own company, right? If my company had more money, you know, then you hire someone, right? So they can, you know, do some of the other labor, so you can effectivize what you're good at, right? If I'm good at math, okay, that's my thing. Math, physics, that's my thing, you know. And, you know, science. I'm good at science and psychology, that's my stuff, right? But if someone else is very good at writing and whatever, I'm gonna let them do the writing, and I can do the science, you know what I mean? I don't know why I don't know why I'm talking. It feels like I'm talking to children here, I don't know. I want us to get so angry, guys, because this feels like the internet. You know, the world is dying, right? Yeah, this kind of stupidity, this kind of insane stupidity gets likes and so on, right? But my basic point is that I also hate how they're so lazy, right? I hate how they have zero actual, you know, like honor, right? Honor or something like that. Proud of the job, just labor. It's like, just do it better, right? Do it better. At least do this very basic thing better, okay? You wanna critique all these animes? Fine, I'm not against that, right? But at least watch the anime, right? A lot of people hated me for the years because, like I said earlier, I've been critiquing some animes very harshly, right? But I at least watch the animes, you know what I mean? I'm not pretending to see the animes. I'm not watching them at 5 times speed. I'm watching the anime. I sometimes I watch them multiple times, right, before I make my reviews. I might go into details, right, and re-watch a few scenes and be like, is that actually better? And I write some notes and I think, and I ponder about it. You know what I mean? This just feels like the worst goddamn dumb shit ever. Let's be honest here. Hate them. You should hate them. Anyway, lastly, I want to go to the tier list. Let's laugh at them. Okay, lastly. Let's very briefly look at this tier list, right? And this is obviously the most generic bullshit I'm a moron list ever, right? Attack on Titan is S tier or whatever, that is terrible. No, but it's just so obvious, okay? To be fair, they have Loom up there. But otherwise, I mean, Yusukai-san, Naruto, Death Note, One Piece in A, so on, right? Fairy Tail, whatever, right? So on. Chainsaw Man. This is just like popularity pool, right? This has zero quality. There's zero value here. It's just like the most generic list ever. These guys obviously know what people like Exos Hunter or whatever, right? So they put these things on top tier, right? Where bottom tier animes or animes they don't get, Old animes like Lupin. Animes that are very popular, of course, historically wise, right? But not popular anymore. So for example, Lupin is a very popular anime, used to be, right? It's one of those classic, okay, this is a good anime. People love this for many years, you know what I mean? But it's not a popular anime that people make videos about today, right? It's not a popular anime that people get, he's aura farming and he's hyping, right? It's not a popular anime in that sense. Or again, obviously it's a classic, right? So almost every anime that they rate low here, right, are old, classic animes, right? Where, of course, the more popular animes they have up there are animes, again, like One Piece, Cowboy Bebop, right? Metal Alchemist, animes that are very, very popular today, still talked about, you know what I mean? So it's again, very, very generic, dumbest stuff ever. All animes with, bad graphics, right? They're in the bottom tier, and so forth, right? So it's the most generic bullshit ever. And it also kind of comes back to what I said earlier, right? Because it's not only about not doing the labor and being lazy and being just morons, but it is also like, your opinion have no value, okay? You guys, if you ever see my video, are pathetic, right? You're pathetic. Hate them, guys. You should hate people and hate your fans too. Hate everyone, hate, You hate should be stronger, right? Because this is pathetic, okay? It is pathetic in the most utmost simplistic way, right? And I see this all the time with these, modern and YouTubers, right? They don't have any valuable opinion because they don't dare to say, oh, I dislike Naruto, oh, I dislike One Piece. They don't, right? Like, maybe One Piece because it's like controversial with Nika and so on. But at my point, most of these people are like, they will never. I mean, how many people will make a video and say, I hate Full Metal Alchemist, you know what I mean? I love FMA, but at my point, it's like, they don't gonna do that, right? Because this is the generic stuff. I think Titan is so good, Death Note is so good, right? This, keep saying it, it's generic. It's just like a checkbox, for like our anime fan, our subscribers likes animes. They like One Piece and FT and Yusukai says. So you're gonna say yes, right? Oh, these old animes that they have never seen, our subscribers have never seen. It's FT, right? That's why these people have actual no value. Don't have actual opinions, and you also know this list here is fake, right? This is what they actually think. They've just ranked it based basically on, again, mostly popularity, right? It's just completely asinine. Again, it has no value because there's no actual truth behind it, right? For example, I mentioned him earlier, one of my most hated anime tubers, right? Mad Lad, incredible joke. He buys subs that I've been over many times, right? That guy is another great example of this thing because he will just scream and cheer for every anime, right? So that moron, he skipped over 1,014 episodes of One Piece, right? Started watching One Piece at 1,015. I'm not kidding, it's true. He even said it's true. And yet, right, he's watching it. He has, of course, no, relationship to character, whatever, right? He's screaming, "Oh my god, it's so awesome! Oh my god!" And that's what he does, right? He just takes whatever is the the current popular, like whatever is the current consensus with people. He just takes that type. Right? If people are hating on anime, he will think so. Another loser, right? Ed Anime, same with him, right? Complete loser, right? Whatever thing he does, he will take an anime. The people, for example, people are hating on Mushoku Tensei, right? He's gonna make a video say, "Oh, I hate it too. Oh, it's the worst thing ever." Complete race bait, right? And then next week, if people like it instead, if the the consensus swaps, right? Be, "Oh, I always liked it. I always liked it." You know what I mean? Pathetic people. They have no actual value. They have no standards, no morality, right? They just change their opinion based on what is the current flow, right? To be that guy, we can see the same thing, right, with Israel and Palestine and so forth. See the same thing there, right? So many people have no actual conviction, right? So they're gonna cheer for whatever side is currently the most popular to cheer for. I must say everyone does that, but a lot of people, of course, would just take, whatever is the most popular opinion, right? Or hateful. Oh, we're supposed to hate those guys now? Oh, those guys are the bad guys now? Yeah, I almost hated those guys, I always hated those people. Next week it's like, no, well, I always, no, but you like them now? Or I hate those guys now instead, right? It's that kind of incredible intellectual dishonesty that I hate people too, right? Because, yeah, this is a bad list. Obviously it is. But I think it is so forthcoming how bad it is, because we can all understand this list is mostly based on popularity. They will never dare to say that they hate Attack on Titan or whatever, right? Because let's be honest here, basically all of their Moronic subs, right, love that show. Yeah, they will never give that show an F tier because they know they actually will get critiqued. Now, of course, they got critiqued by everyone else except then of the internet, but it's interesting. And guys, if you're hateful like me, press subscribe button, guys, so you can have a great day.